Part 133. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1323. The current situation is that Kong Hai and Lu Shijian are besieging Cultivation. Of course, they want to get his magic crystal. The Time Realm and the Void Realm do have a good relationship. The two have always been good friends. At this time, they coincidentally plan to defeat Cultivation first, and maybe they will settle the score with each other in the end. They have just obtained their heavenly artifacts, and they are not as familiar with Cultivation as he is with the heavenly 10,000 swords, so they can only besiege. If the magic crystals of the three of them are gathered together and one person gets them, then there may be nearly 450 magic crystals, which is about the same as Zhang Zizai's current number, which can be said to be directly surpassed. For the three of them, the encounter between them is a very important opportunity. A time beast and a void beast, the two bite and cooperate, one controls and the other attacks, which is very scary. Cultivation did not transform into a totem giant sword, but used the heavenly 10,000 swords in human form. The sword totem is a special totem. In fact, it is not very meaningful for him to transform into a totem giant sword for battle, because the sword itself is a dead object. If he wants to use the heavenly artifact to exert his expertise in swordsmanship, the human form is more suitable and has stronger combat power, which is different from the beast-shaped totem. Although the divine body is a little worse, it is particularly terrible in the use of swordsmanship. The power of their swordsmanship tactics is not comparable to that of ordinary people, especially Cultivation has controlled the heavenly 10,000 swords for a long time, so at this time, facing the entanglement of the Time Beast and the Void Beast, he still has the strength to fight. The heavenly 10,000 swords is a bit scary. This heavenly artifact has turned into 10,000 swords, and now it is flying around Cultivation, completely under his control of the sword. Wherever he wants, the swords pierce his heart. Tens of thousands of swords simultaneously use different sword tactics to form a monstrous sword formation, just like a domain. In his domain, whether it is the Time Beast or the Void Beast, it is difficult to take advantage in a short time. If Kong Hai and Lu Shijian had not obtained the Qinkanding and the Nilyuan clock, they would not be his opponents at all. The God Kings of the Heavenly Sword Divine Realm are known for their fighting power. They are a clan that is particularly good at fighting and have a destructive power that is against the sky. At this time, the confrontation between the heavenly 10,000 swords and the Qinkanding and the Nilyuan clock looked quite exciting. The Qinkanding is a huge cauldron with a world inside. Now the cauldron is upside down and suspended in the sky, trying to cover the surroundings, but it is supported by the sword formation of the heavenly 10,000 swords. If it is swallowed by the Qinkanding, then Cultivation will lose. The Nilyuan clock is an ancient bronze clock with a black hour hand on it. The hour hand is turned by Lu Shijian. When the hour hand is turned, the flow rate of time is changing, which has a great impact on his swordsmanship. The three of them are now in the stage of competing, but they will soon become bloodthirsty. Cultivation angrily scolded the two men for being despicable. After all, the people who are besieged are always in the worst mood, but they are also the most violent. He doesn't want the other party to take him down easily. He even wants to kill the two of them. But at this time, Zhang Zizai suddenly came here. He didn't show up, but watched the battle in the dark. But what surprised him was that Cultivation's sense was so sharp. When he was fighting, the heavenly 10,000 swords flew over Zhang Zizai's head, and he suddenly said, "You two should stop fighting. Zhang Zizai is here." This sentence was enough to scare the two men to stop directly, especially the silent god king Lu Shijian, who was defeated by Zhang Zizai. As the saying goes, the mantis stalks the cicada, and the oriole is behind. If they kill them half to death here and let Zhang Zizai take advantage of it, it would be a big loss. So after hearing about Zhang Zizai's arrival, they must not do it again. "Did you see it, Konghai turned into a human form and stared at Cultivation. Cultivation has locked onto Zhang Zizai. He drew his sword and the sword energy swept through. All the trees around Zhang Zizai were shattered, and he was exposed to everyone's sight. It seems that the heavenly 10,000 swords are Cultivation's eyes. Just now, the 10,000 swords swept by and actually saw Zhang Zizai. After being discovered, Zhang Zizai was not in a hurry. Although this increased the difficulty of his challenge in disguise, he had reached the point where he didn't care. Since he was discovered, he could only come out openly. I thought it would be easier, but now it seems that it may take a lot of effort to stabilize the first position, or even a life and death battle. The other party also has 3 heavenly artifacts, and they are top-notch god kings of the 9th level. Originally it was a triangular dispute, but now with the addition of Zhang Zizai, who has more than 400 phantom magic crystals, the situation has completely changed. Originally Cultivation was the most feared, but now the most feared is indeed Zhang Zizai, who has the 3 heavenly artifacts and has defeated the 3 god kings of lawlessness and mercilessness. You are so insidious. You actually want to play the trick of the mantis catching the cicada while the oriole is waiting behind. It's a pity that you showed up first, otherwise you would have been the one who benefited the most. Konghai missed Xuanhuan last time and didn't get to know Zhang Zizai. The only impression he had of him was the time he met him in Shenlong City. That time, Zhang Zizai was able to escape from them, but this time, he had already made them wary. Cultivation didn't say anything. Zhang Zizai's appearance was equivalent to giving him a chance. Next, he shouldn't be besieged. Zhang Zizai was the most coveted person here. Did you defeat Lu Yiyi? Lu Shizhen asked in a deep voice. It was just luck, Zhang Zizai smiled. After Xuanhuan was defeated, I was just short of the heavenly artifact. Today, everyone is on the same level. Are you still so relaxed, Zhang Zizai, or are you pretending to be calm? Lu Shizhen asked. Of course I pretended to be calm, Zhang Zizai said. This chapter is not over yet, please click on the next page to continue reading. Don't bother with him. It's normal for him to think highly of himself because he has 3 great divine weapons. Since he was able to defeat Lu Yiyi by luck and got more than 400 magic crystals, he must be the strongest one. The 3 of us are definitely not opponents. I think we should join forces to kill him. After all, he is the fattest sheep here, Konghai smiled. I won't participate, you guys compete. Cultivation is very smart. The current Zhang Zizai is the next one. They have all joined forces to deal with him. If Zhang Zizai falls, it will definitely be his turn. Even if he participates, he can't spend any energy on dealing with Zhang Zizai. After saying that, Cultivation left directly. Before Zhang Zizai appeared, if he left, the other 2 would definitely not agree, but now a fatter sheep has appeared. When he left, Lu Shizhen and Konghai hesitated for a while, but still didn't chase him, because their target was Zhang Zizai. Cultivation left, but he didn't go far. He was still within the range of Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul. He didn't know much about Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul, so he thought he was hiding well. In fact, this was also human nature. If Zhang Zizai were him, he wouldn't really leave at this time. He would stay here, sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight, and seek wealth and honor in danger. Cultivation left, Lu Shizhen and Konghai would never let Zhang Zizai go. One of them controlled the Kinkan Ding, and the other controlled the reverse chaos clock, and they surrounded him one after another. I'm curious, who will my phantom magic crystal belong to in the end? Zhang Zizai laughed, and all the treasures on me. Neither of them spoke, in fact, this was their biggest hidden contradiction. So, facing me, you all want to retain your strength, haha. In this way, they will be easy to deal with. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1324. In addition to these three opponents, there are actually some god kings who were attracted by the previous battle within the range of Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul. It's just that they think they can't interfere in this level of battle, so they can only watch from a distance. Of course, what they think in their hearts is, maybe they have a chance? What if they both lose? What if there are other special circumstances? So, when they come, they will definitely not leave. And the number of people is still increasing, especially after Zhang Zizai's arrival. He is now the absolute focus of the entire ancient realm. As long as he shows his face, the rest of the people will definitely swarm like locusts. Now they are particularly excited to see Zhang Zizai being besieged by the god king Kong Kong and the god king Jing Jing. It is rumored that Zhang Zizai has the strength to defeat Lu Yiyi, but who can believe it without seeing it with their own eyes? And now the opponents he faces have two great heavenly god artifacts, which are much more difficult to deal with than Lu Yiyi. Zhang Zizai is very likely to be finished this time. That's right. Even though his fortune is piled high, once it collapses, he will have nothing, even his life will be lost. That's right. After all, the rule of Qingyang Taigu God is that you can kill anyone. Who can kill the lucky Zhang Zizai? Who knows? Maybe it's not you or me. Haha. Fighting started. Just as people were talking, Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen had transformed into their own bodies of Void Beast and Time Beast and were fighting. Void Beast and Time Beast are both illusory existences. One lives in the cracks of Kinkan space, and the other lives in the river of time. They control the mysteries of time and space, and have become one of the top divine domains among the 49 divine domains with the highest power. Now their strength is stronger than that of the dragon sacrifice divine domain. Zhang Zizai had seen the power of the time beast, and it had no effect on him. However, when the other party had a divine artifact like the reverse chaos clock, he had to be more vigilant. The Kinkan Ding and the reverse chaos clock were not ordinary things. This was also the reason why they had the courage to deal with Zhang Zizai. The totem of the Kong Kong god King Kong Hai was called the Endless Fracture Void Beast Totem. Now, wherever the Endless Fracture Void Beast went, the space of the ancient realm was twisted and torn. He had the opportunity to shuttle freely in the Kinkan, appearing and disappearing without a trace, and often launching a fatal attack at the most fatal moment. Zhang Zizai, you really underestimated our friendship. We almost grew up together and have experienced countless battles side by side. There is no each other between us, only enemies. You are wrong to want to sow discord between us. We have defeated countless enemies together and have never been separated from each other, Lu Shizhen said. That's right. The more you provoke, the more you prove your fear. Next, I will show you how lethal the Void Beast and the Time Beast will be when they work together. Our two great divine domains have been as close as brothers since ancient times. It is also because once we join forces, we are invincible. Two people can almost exert the combat power of three people, Kong Kong God King Kong Hai said. Is that so? But there can only be one person who kills me, and there can only be one person who is the first of the 49 sacrifices. So, are you willing to give up and let your brothers partner up? Let the sky be high and let the birds fly, and you can only look up. Zhang Zizai just wanted to laugh. He could see through this shallow brotherhood at once. What is fighting side by side? They are not easy to deal with. What they said was just deceiving themselves. Stop talking nonsense, maybe it was because they hit their vital points. Both of them were a little irritated. At this time, they attacked at the same time. The power of the Endless Fracture Totem of the Sky Sea has been demonstrated. He shuttles and controls. Under his control, the space around Zhang Zizai is full of dense and tiny cracks. These cracks are almost invisible, but the body of an ordinary god king may be cut with a bloody mark if it is slightly released. The next moment, Lu Shizhen's eternal stillness is used again, and an invisible vortex is shrouding Zhang Zizai. This is the power of time stillness last time, and it is the same type as Zhang Zizai's infinite time-breaking blade. Whoosh! How could Zhang Zizai not know the coordination between time and space? Time is control, and space is harvest. Harvesting after control is extremely easy, so they often cooperate in battle. After all, control without harvesting cannot kill the enemy. Now when the eternal stillness vortex is covered again, the void beast tears the space with its claws, tearing out countless space cracks, sweeping towards Zhang Zizai like a storm. Once Zhang Zizai is controlled, these space forces can easily tear him into pieces invisibly. Zhang Zizai ignored such a dangerous cooperation. He did not move at all. He just gradually refined his three great heavenly artifacts one after another. In fact, the reverse flow river and the broken world light of the origin flower directly entangled him and protected him layer by layer. This was also the power of time and space. Above his head, the Chaos Soul Bell rushed into the sky. Above the sky, the inverted Qincanding had appeared. In the land under Zhang Zizai's feet, the reverse Chaos Clock had been integrated into it, facing up, and facing the mouth of the Qincanding, trapping Zhang Zizai in the center. Above was the terrible Qincanding, and below was the weird reverse Chaos Clock. At this time, the two great divine weapons had not yet taken effect. Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen used their strength before they got the divine weapons. They cooperated with each other, using the eternal static vortex and endless cracks to try to see if they could directly kill Zhang Zizai with just this light. As for how to determine who killed Zhang Zizai at that time, it might depend on what Qingyang Taigu God said. They were still very confident in their own cooperation. But they saw in disbelief that Zhang Zizai still came out of the eternal static vortex easily. He was not disturbed by the power of time at all and came out easily. When he flashed with chaotic lightning and dodged a large number of endless cracks, the remaining small part of the endless cracks hit him without any damage. The broken world light itself has the ability to resist other spatial forces. Just now, Zhang Zizai also came out of the static vortex directly with the counter-current river. As soon as they saw that Zhang Zizai was unharmed, they were already solemn. The two looked at each other and knew in their hearts that it was still necessary to use the two great divine weapons to be able to beat Zhang Zizai, who was now surrounded and protected by various divine weapons. Die. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1325. At this moment, the power of the Qincan Cauldron and the anti-chaos clock exploded directly. When these two things formed a connection, the power became even greater. This was a very terrifying combination. Lu Shizhen appeared in the anti-chaos at this time. On the chaotic clock, when he moved the black hour hand, sometimes faster and sometimes slower, the time flow rate in Zhang Zizai's space directly became faster, sometimes slower. This kind of chaotic time, it greatly affects his rhythm, especially if he accelerates suddenly when it is very slow, it will make him directly lose control of his divine power. In short, the whole person is extremely confused in the chaos of time. And at such a time, the Qincan cauldron containing the endless fragmented world fell from the sky, as if it was shrouded by a mountain. Once trapped in the Qincan cauldron, it must endure the broken world inside, which is equivalent to a mountain of knives. Billions of pieces of Qincan skin can completely tear a person into pieces. The Qincan cauldron and the counter-chaos clock look like a pair. When the Qincan cauldron successfully sucks people in and then covers the counter-chaos clock on top, even if the person inside is a god, it is possible that the space-time power of these two god kings will be torn into pieces and controlled at the same time. It must be extremely uncomfortable to be torn apart. Even if Zhang Zizai had the three heavenly artifacts, he didn't think he could survive in it. He didn't expect that the combined power of the two heavenly artifacts was so terrifying. The onlookers were amazed and his eyes lit up. Your combination of heavenly artifacts is pretty good. I'm attracted to it. I didn't want to kill you at first, but now you want to kill people and seize treasures. So I can only kill people and seize treasures like you under the suppression of the two heavenly artifacts underneath, Zhang Zizi said with a smile. Now the Qinqin cauldron continues to suppress, and the reverse clock is still messing with time, making Zhang Zizi severely constrained. Even speaking a word is sometimes faster and sometimes slower. You have this ability? How can I tell that you are already dead? Kukai said with a smile. In fact, they are not evil people, and they have not killed many people. But at this time, facing Zhang Zizi's moving treasure, they have already had murderous intentions. Zhang Zizi must put Zhang Zizi to death. This is terrible. It's not just for the magic crystal. Yet, there is the Qinqin cauldron above, and there is reverse chaos of time and space below. Such terrifying control, the power of time and space is indeed very transcendent. But he, Zhang Zizi, is also good at the power of time and space. At this moment, he counterattacked again, this time starting with the Chaos Soul Clock, using the Huantian Eye and the Soul-taking Mirror as the impact. When the Requiem began to play, even if the rhythm was affected by time, the music still came out, and Zhang Zizi's magical eyes and soul-capturing mirrors are fatal to Kukai, who has no soul protection at all. In this regard, when his heavenly artifact cannot block Zhang Zizi's heavenly soul power, then his power in this aspect the resistance is no different from Zhao Wuxian. Look at my eyes, I have 3 eyes. A blood-red phantom eye, a pair of mirror-like eyes, and the sound of the Chaos Soul Clock. Kukai fell into a trance and quickly entered another spiritual world. When his spirit failed, his control of the Qinqin cauldron is not that perfect. When the Qinqin cauldron trembled and swayed, even with the control of the power of time, Zhang Zizi still rushed out from the upper and lower encirclement, with chaotic lightning flashing, chaotic earth clocks and other controls. In this moment, he had appeared in front of Kukai's eyes. The huge void beast was still hallucinating. Zhang Zizi held the 6-ray thunder flame divine pillar in his hand and attacked it. King Kong Kong, goodbye. Zhang Zizi's soul-capturing mirror suddenly emitted a dazzling light, piercing his opponent's eyes. It happened so fast that Lu Shizhen couldn't even support him in time and couldn't stop him at all. Zhang Zizi, in the blink of an eye, Zhang Zizi's 6 rays of thunder pillar had bombarded Kong Kong God King's screams dozens of times in a row. Ah! After more than 10 times in a row, his voice was filled with pain and despair. However, in the violent storm, Zhang Zizi didn't even give him a chance to beg for mercy. With the last blow, the void beast escaped from the capital under the control of the soul-capturing mirror. Instead of escaping, Zhang Zizi directly killed him. His divine body, divine source, and soul were all punished and died. When God King Kong Kong died in the battle, the Qinqin cauldron lost its owner. Just counterclocking the clock would not pose much of a threat to Zhang Zizi. Now Zhang Zizi has already taken them down. However, since he has already killed them, definitely do it to the end. Zhang Zizi, you dare to kill Kukai. Kukai's status in the Void God realm is very high. With so many people watching, they all know that it was you who did it. Once you leave the ancient realm, you will wait for the pursuit of the Void God realm. You Supreme Dragon Clan, it's already troublesome enough. If you offend us, it will make you even more troublesome. Lu Shizhen finally became afraid. Only fear can lead to such threats. Really? Is the Void Divine Realm launching a divine war against the Supreme Dragon Clan for the sake of a God King? Zhang Zizi said coldly. He fell from the sky, holding the 6-rayed thunder pillar in his hand, and said in a deep voice, a common man is not guilty, but he is pregnant with a jade sin. I have a treasure, I am guilty. You want to kill me, you also have a treasure, and you are guilty, so when I am stronger than you, of course I can send you back to the west. Lu Shizhen, goodbye. Don't even think about it. Lu Shizhen smelled the smell of death. He was already frightened, but he still tried his best to aim the reverse clock at Zhang Zizai, slowed down the speed crazily, and then used the reverse clock with all his strength. Chaos clock escapes. You have the reverse chaos clock, and I have the reverse flow river. Zhang Zizai opened the reverse flow river and entered it completely. The speed of the reverse chaos clock can be very slow, but the reverse flow river is not affected at all. In the reverse flow river, Zhang Zizai suddenly appeared in front of Lu Shizhen. Stop, otherwise my time god realm will be in conflict with the void god realm. Lu Shizhen's voice was full of tears, but there was no way. The Qinqin and the reverse chaos clock would work together to achieve the greatest effect, so Zhang Zizai could not stop at all. Bang bang bang. Beat to death with a stick. The time beast is ethereal, but it also has its own body, with a divine body, divine source, and divine soul. As long as it exists, it is fragile under the 6 thunder flame divine pillars. It will collapse directly under the bombardment. Even the gods can't save Lu Shizhen. After all, he didn't kill him last time, and he still wants to pay attention to himself this time. In a place like the ancient realm, it is very likely that there is only one chance, or even no chance at all. The battle didn't last long, and ended with the screams of Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen. Not only did they die miserably, but they also lost their own things. Zhang Zizai had many tricks on them. At this moment, golden words appeared under their feet, reminding everyone. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1326. Sacrifice to Zhang Zizai of the Dragon God Realm, kill Kong Hai, the Sky God King of the Void God Realm, and Lu Shizhen, the Silent God King of the Time God Realm. Obtain the Qinqin Cauldron, the Counter Chaos Clock Hand, and 2 Crystal Beast Hearts. When they got this divine weapon, they could kill it. Qingyang Ancient God was fair. They already regarded Zhang Zizai as a treasure, but they didn't know that in Zhang Zizai's eyes, they were also treasures. Since they could kill it, there was nothing good about it. You're being polite, after all, these 2 heavenly artifacts are so powerful when they work together. He can put away these 2 divine weapons for the time being, but they may need to be refined for a while. After all, he has too many divine weapons now, and he may not be able to control them successfully. In addition to the Qinqin Cauldron and the Anti-Chaos Clock, the Crystal Beast Heart was a surprise. After they died in the battle, the Crystal Beast Heart was integrated into Zhang Zizai's heart. Now his Samsara True Dragon Heart has a total of 3 Crystal Beast Hearts. Fusion. I defeated and killed them, and got their celestial artifact and Crystal Beast Heart. There was a reminder in the golden text. Before that, there were no reminders of celestial artifact and Crystal Beast Heart, which means that the heavenly Dragon God King has not been captured. It's strange that he didn't come when there was such a big movement like the Blue Sun. This is a point that puzzles Zhang Zizai. The troublesome thing is that now everyone knows that I killed them. In this way, the 2 major divine realms will also know. I wonder how they will react to me after the 49 sacrifices are over? Now the Hundong Demon Clan and the Dragon Sacrifice Divine Realm is already on the same level. If these 2 major divine realms are added to it, the threat to the Supreme Dragon Clan will be greater. I feel like I am trying to bring hatred to the Supreme Dragon Clan. Of course, for the sake of the 2 God Kings, I will launch a divine war. There is no need, at most we can secretly help the opponents of the Supreme Dragon Clan. Although he had a headache, they were 2 heavenly artifacts after all. Zhang Zizai would not regret it if he had to do it again. In addition to these, the harvest of phantom magic crystals is also one of them. Together, they have nearly 300 phantom magic crystals. Now Zhang Zizai has more than 700 phantom magic crystals. The golden text has not listed the gangs for the time being, but he has already having surpassed the 2nd-ranked Mu Fan with 400 magic crystals. It was already very difficult for the opponent to surpass him at this time. However, Zhang Zizai doesn't mind if he has more magic crystals to ensure that his ranking is more stable. At this time, many onlookers were frightened. When they saw Zhang Zizai being suppressed in this way, they thought that this myth was about to be shattered. They did not expect that he could fight back so easily. Now look at this young guy. With such a being, who would dare to waste time on him? That seems to be an idiot's dream. He has so many heavenly artifacts to protect him. Even the Kinkan Cauldron and the Anti-Chaos Clock can't touch him. Who among the God Kings can touch him? People's eyes contained endless trembling, including Xuanhuan, who originally thought there was still a chance to harvest. When he saw the two people dying in battle, his only reaction was to leave quickly and leave this devil. Unfortunately, he was still a little slow. He underestimated the range of Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul. In fact, Zhang Zizai had already known that he was still around, so after taking care of the Kong Kong God King and the Silence God King, he immediately appeared in front of Si Kongfei. In front of Chen Chen, he looked at him with a smile and said, "Who told you not to leave? I won't let you leave." Si Kongfei frowned and said, "Are you the demon king of killing? It's useless to kill me. My 10,000 swords from heaven were not obtained here. Before he came here, he was at the top, and now he is still ranked 3rd or 4th, which is pretty good. Who wants to kill you? I don't want to offend your heavenly sword god realm, but I want to take away the magic crystal," Zhang Zizai said. "You are already over 700, right? Mufan is less than 400, and you are almost twice as old as him. Are you still worried?" Si Kongfei said depressedly. "To be on the safe side, who knows if you will meet him, so it's better to keep it in my hands. Then try to see if you have the ability to take it." He thought that his only advantage might be that he had just rested, while Zhang Zizai had just experienced a battle. It's not his style to just admit defeat. He now regrets not attacking Zhang Zizai with those two, but in that case, Zhang Zizai would probably kill him too. Si Kongfei pulled away, and in an instant, thousands of swords were flying around him, and thousands of swords from the sky were roaring and flying in the sky on his body. The sword edges around him were densely packed and very sharp, making people's scalp numb. Floating thousand swords piercing the heart formation. When each sword is performing different sword moves and combined together, it becomes a terrifying sword formation. This is what Si Kongfei relies on. His fighting style is completely different from others. The sword flew into the sky, a group of swords exploded, and in the blink of an eye, thousands of swords pierced the heart. Sukyunyu's training will also be in the direction of Si Kongfei in the future. Their fighting style is purely explosive, and the lethality is indeed terrifying. The sharpness of the 10,000 swords of heaven is enough to penetrate Zhang Zizai's divine weapon protection, so for him in fact, Si Kongfei was more difficult to deal with than the other two together, because what the two were good at happened to be what Zhang Zizai was good at, and Zhang Zizai was able to restrain him. As for Si Kongfei's 10,000 swords, he had no other choice but to dodge and resist. Overall, he admired this opponent's explosiveness. However, Zhang Zizai's advantage in the heavenly soul is too great now. The opponent's sword spirit is very strong, but under the control of the Chaos Soul Clock, Magical Eyes, and Soul Captivating Mirror's triple heavenly soul, under the control of his 10,000 swords before penetrating Zhang Zizai, his soul was first suppressed by Zhang Zizai. 10,000 swords penetrated his heart and suddenly dissipated. Tianyi Suling sword array, he was still unwilling to give in. At this time, he forcibly held on to the suppression of his soul, and gathered the 10,000 swords from the sky together, condensing them on Zhang Zizai's head, forming a huge divine sword, which fell from the sky at this moment. Stab Zhang Zizai. Break. To be honest, Zhang Zizai can't stop the Tianyi Suling sword formation. He is now a relatively strong man, and his disadvantage in realm still exists. He is just too strong in one aspect, so he can suppress his opponent and become his opponent's killer. When the power was equally terrifying, Zhang Zizai could only go faster. He still suppressed it with the Chaos Soul Bell. The 6-ray Thunder Flame Divine Pillar in his hand was suddenly thrown out. Before the Tianyi Suling sword formation hit him, his 6-ray Thunder Flame the Divine Pillar first pressed against Sikong Facian's chest and knocked him away. When Sikong Facian was seriously injured, the Tianyi Void Spirit sword formation above Zhang Zizai's head was extremely close to him. Even if he had a lot of armor, he might be injured this time, but fortunately he was fast enough. At this time, when Sikong Facian was seriously injured, was no longer able to control the 10,000 swords of heaven, so the Yuxu spiritual sword formation collapsed above Zhang Zizai's head that day. To be honest, he might have been defeated by Sikong Facian just a little bit away. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1327. When Sikong Facian was severely injured at this time, his divine body, soul, and source had been damaged, burned continuously by flames and split by lightning, and had lost his combat effectiveness. When he was completely unable to deal with Zhang Zizai, he had already lost the battle. His phantom demon all the crystals are in Zhang Zizai's hands. Now Zhang Zizai's number of magic crystals has reached more than 900, surpassing Mu Fan by more than 500. When the number of magic crystals is announced tomorrow, many people will definitely be interested in the number 1 in the rankings. The position is desperate. Awesome Sikong Facian got up. He looked at Zhang Zizai and said, "You are really incredible. You can achieve this level in your 20s. I really admire you. It's not unfair to lose to you. This time it's basically you won the first place in the 49th festival, right? Your only opponent is Mu Fan. He is not easy to deal with, he is very strange, and he is lower profile than you, so be careful about sailing the 10,000-year ship. Thanks for the reminder. See you tomorrow," Zhang Zizai said with a smile. "I would also like to thank you for providing me with valuable experience on the road to becoming a god." After Sikong Facian finished speaking, he turned and left. Although the magic crystal had returned to 0, he was not in a bad mood, at least today. If he didn't die here, and if he let a stronger person take away his magic crystal, he would be convinced that he had lost, and there would be nothing to say. It's over. Zhang Zizai has indeed gained a lot. The first place in the magic crystal is basically no suspense. But he doesn't know how long the competition for the magic crystal will last. There may not be many magic crystals left now, and Zhang Zizai can only get it from others. Snatch. Others were still watching, but they did not leave. After all, they had nothing on them, and they probably knew that Zhang Zizai had no interest in doing anything to them. Zhang Zizai is so scary, so admirable. When a person's achievements have exceeded everyone's imagination, suddenly, there is no covetous heart at all. At this time, there is only admiration and worship. I didn't expect that a person like you would appear in the currently depressed Supreme Dragon Clan. From recorded history to the present, there has never been anyone like you who defies heaven. Keep going, I guess it won't take long for you to become a god. When the time comes, you will be immortal and enviable. Thank you for your kind words, and I'll say goodbye in advance. He is no longer just someone everyone is looking for. After tomorrow, 99% of people will only respect him when they see him. Sikong Facian's magic crystals returned to 0, and Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen disappeared from the list, while Zhang Zizai directly added 450 magic crystals. Everyone knows what happened. In one day, he which God King can defeat or kill these 3 people. After Zhang Zizai left, he took a short rest. He found a quiet place and focused on the 2 heavenly artifacts. Now a cauldron and a clock are placed on his left and right hands. After being reduced in size, they still look relatively compact. However, it is undeniable that these 2 heavenly artifacts work together to really move away. Once they are put on and off, once they are covered, the enemy will definitely die. Fighting in the Kinkan Cauldron is the world of the masters of these two heavenly artifacts. It is better for one person to control two divine weapons than for two people to use them together. He was going to give it a try to see if it could be used for sacrifice. He now had three divine artifacts. According to logic, controlling the divine artifacts would require a lot of divine soul power and would repel each other, so he didn't hold on to many of them. Big hope. The first is the Kinkan mirror. His soul, spirit, and will entered the world of the Kinkan Cauldron. This is a broken space. Within the space, there is a void beast wandering in it. This is the weapon spirit of the Kinkan Cauldron. No wonder he chose Kyukai. It turns out that the spirit and Kyukai are of the same race. They are both void beasts, but there are some differences in their appearance. Maybe this divine void beast prefers the unintelligent bloodline of divine beasts, and is born a void beast, not a totem. Behemoth. It's not easy to subdue this void beast. He was already prepared for the hard work, but he never expected that at this moment, after seeing Zhang Zizai's heavenly soul, the void beast trembled and then prostrated. In front of Zhang Zizai, he directly let him take control, allowing Zhang Zizai to easily control the Kinkan Ding. It's because it's afraid that I got the huge space illusory dragon on the ancestral dragon tower. That illusory dragon is within my heavenly soul. This is also the reason why Zhang Zizai can resist the power of space to a great extent. At that time, there were three great divine dragons integrated into the divine soul, namely the power of soul, space, and time, and Zhang Zizai is particularly outstanding in these aspects now. After taking control of the Kinkan Cauldron, he entered the counter-chaos clock. The god inside was a time beast, which was also different from the totem beast. After seeing Zhang Zizai, he surrendered directly and let Zhang Zizai can be easily controlled. These two heavenly artifacts directly turned into patterns and appeared on the palms of Zhang Zizai's hands. The left palm had the pattern of the Kinkan Cauldron, and the right palm had the pattern of a clock. The flower of origin is on the back of the left hand, the 6-raised divine pillar is on the right arm of the right hand, and the 9 dragons chaos divine bell is on the back. Therefore, there is no conflict between these 5 heavenly artifacts. I have so many heavenly artifacts that I am now the king of heavenly artifacts in the entire history of the world. Zhang Zizai smiled. If you don't count the separated ones, it's okay, there are only 5. Once you count the separated ones, it will be 23. What is the concept of the 23-day artifact? Even the effects are not repeated, which is already an astronomical figure for the heavenly artifact. With the Kinkan Ding and the reverse chaos clock, Zhang Zizai's ability in control will have a stronger burst. It also makes up for his single attack. Next, he continued to search, and the ranking of the phantom magic crystals on the second day really shocked everyone in the Blue Sun. In the next 6 months, the number of phantom demons decreased a lot. In the end, Zhang Zizai's number of phantom magic crystals was fixed at 1,200, while Mu Fan's number reached 600. In the golden text list, the 20th phantom magic crystal had only 50, which shows that most of the phantom magic crystals were on Zhang Zizai and Mu Fan. On this day, the phantom magic crystals suddenly changed, and Zhang Zizai knew that the competition for phantom magic crystals was over. All the phantom magic crystals on his body shone and merged into his internal organs, making his internal organs as bright as the starry sky, and then his body was out of control and flew towards the sky. End of chapter 4. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1328. At this time, the body is out of control, and he can't control it, and there is no need to control it. He guessed that other people who got the magic crystal would be the same as him. At present, there is no one else within the range of the heavenly soul, so it is not possible to see the current situation of others. 4 years have passed since the 49th festival. It has been nearly a year and a half in the blue sun alone. It is almost time to end. The Qingyang ancient god should release the final big move. Among them, Zhang Zizai made the most progress in the first year of this ancient realm. That was because the realm was low at that time, and there were more resources that could be refined with the swallowing Yuanju. Now, not only are there fewer resources, there are almost no divine beast kings, and the current realm requires a lot of pure divine sources to be refined with the swallowing Yuanju before it is possible to break through the realm. Taiwan Novel Network Rightward arrow. Although it is slower than the first year, it is still an unimaginable speed compared to others. His speed is not like that of a god king, but like a newborn who has just been born and has just become an ancient god, practicing in the ancient god realm. Even though he is only at the 6th level of the god king realm now, he has the 5 great heavenly artifacts in his hands and other capital. Under the gods, he can completely maneuver. First of the 49 sacrifices. Looking at the blue sun fire in the sky, his eyes were burning. Strangely, this time when he approached the sun fire, he could not feel the burning. He was guided to get closer and closer, and finally crashed into the sun fire. When he came to the highest altitude, he could vaguely see that there seemed to be people in the distance who were attracted to the sky like him, but they were too far away and there were not many people, so he could not tell who they were. When he came to the sun-green fire, he was not burned to death, but experienced the transfer of time and space. Not long after, he appeared in an endless void. This void was empty space, nothing, darkness, and dead silence. Even in the Taixu universe, there are millstones, and the only thing that exists in this endless void space may be a suspended disk under his feet. The disk is taking him in this void. It seems to be still, but it is actually very fast. Anyway, no matter who falls under the disk, it is estimated that he will be thrown away soon and can never catch up. This is like a dish, and Zhang Zizai is like a dish on the dish, being sent to a certain location. There are 19 people who have become dishes on the plate like him. They all appear on the same disk with Zhang Zizai. When Zhang Zizai glanced at them, he knew that there were a total of 20 people, including himself, which was the top 20 in the last ranking of the magic crystal ranking. That is to say, those who are ranked outside the top 20 have completely lost the qualification to compete for the first place in the 49th festival. From the current situation, this guess should be almost right. According to the setting of Qingyang ancient god, he estimated that the next thing would be the competition among the remaining 20 people. Although he seized the initiative, the Qingyang ancient god was so strange that he did not dare to say that he was very sure. The more he stood out, the more he was targeted. So from this moment on, he was more vigilant than ever. Zhang Zizai knew most of these 20 people, such as Mu Fan, who was wearing a black robe and had always been ranked second. He stood on the other side of the disc, and his eyes were also observing everyone, silently. There were also Cultivation and Lu Yiyi. Their phantom magic crystals were taken away by Zhang Zizai, but in the remaining half of the year, they continued to collect and hunt phantom demons, and finally returned to the top 20 during this period. Although they did not have many phantom magic crystals now, they were enough for them to reach this position. God King Kong Kong and God King Jing Jing were eliminated permanently. The illusionary God King Yi Meng is of course here too. Zhang Zizai still hasn't figured out everything about her. He can only respect her and wait for the day when they can get along with each other as they really are. Other God Kings also come from the stronger parts of the 49 God realms, such as Huang 11 of the Sacred Phoenix clan. After Cultivation, Lu Yiyi, Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen were successively dealt with by Zhang Zizai. Her number of illusionary magic crystals even ranked 4th, after Yi Meng. Among the Supreme Dragon clan, through the power of the whole clan, the 3 God Kings of Shengluan, Lingxian, and Tumo also rushed into the top 20 at the last moment. The three of them were very lucky and did not fall out in the end, ranking 18th, 19th and 20th respectively. Including Zhang Zizai, there are already 4 Supreme Dragon Clan members here, accounting for 1/5. If the number of people in the Sacrifice Dragon God realm is counted, then there is 1/4. In terms of strength, if these people are talking about it individually, only Mu Fan is blank and strange to Zhang Zizai, and he can't grasp it. The rest of them are basically not Zhang Zizai's opponents. Of course, the competition for the first place in the 49th festival is not necessarily a competition of strength, so you can't be proud now. It's the arrival of the Holy Luan God King that has caused some trouble for Zhang Zizai. When the three of them came, they saw Zhang Zizai and the Illusion God King at a glance. Their eyes were uncertain. When everyone did not take any action for the time being and was alert to each other, the three of them walked in front of Zhang Zizai. Zhang Zizai, explain why you didn't kill her when you had such a good opportunity, the spiritual immortal God King asked calmly. I'm so sorry. I wanted to take her magic crystal, but I didn't expect her primordial magic sea to be so powerful, so she ran away instead, Zhang Zizai said with a headache. Anyway, he said so, they can believe it or not. Are you fooling us? As long as you ask, the magic crystal is yours, why do you need to take her away, the demon slayer said angrily. I was wrong, Zhang Zizai could only say this. Anyway, he was not afraid of boiling water, so he let them say whatever they wanted. He knew that if he became the first of the 49 sacrifices and put forward the wish to let Yanar escape from the reincarnation calamity, the entire Supreme Dragon Clan would probably find trouble with him. This was just the beginning. He had no choice anyway. In fact, he had a little sense of belonging to the Supreme Dragon Clan. As long as they didn't force him too hard, Zhang Zizai had no intention of harming them. In his heart, getting Yanar out of the sea of suffering was the first priority. This was also his ultimate goal in coming to the ancient realm, and there would be absolutely no change. That's very simple. If you know your mistakes, you must correct them. She is alone here now. Just kill her immediately, the Demon Slayer King said in a deep voice. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qing Yang. Chapter 1329. Not now, Qing Yang Taigu God has not made any arrangements yet, and the space here is narrow, so it's not suitable for action anyway. Zhang Zizai just wanted to delay the time and deal with them, he didn't want to make the relationship very bad. Are you sure you will kill her? Lingxian God King asked suspiciously. If there is a chance, of course I will try. But she is not easy to kill. Last time I didn't take her away, you might not be able to kill her, Zhang Zizai said. He Demon Slayer God King smiled coldly, too lazy to say more. In fact, I think it's the final stage of competition now. Among the 20 of us, there will always be one who will become the first of the 49 sacrifices. Zhang Zizai, you are the one with the best chance, Lingxian God King said softly. At this point, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network rightward arrow. You can't say that. No one knows how Qing Yang Taigu God will arrange it. Everyone has the same chance. The more you stand out, the easier it is to be dealt with first. So, it's better to be cautious, Zhang Zizai said seriously. He knew what Lingxian God King wanted to say. It was nothing more than hinting at his wish to kill Xianzun. But sorry, let's not talk about the relationship between Zhang Zizai and Juxian. No matter what, he couldn't kill Xianzun in this way and cut off his possibility of finding Juxian again. And for him, it was more important to let Yanar escape from the reincarnation calamity. Sure enough, Lingxian God King and others hinted at it again, and they almost said it clearly. Zhang Zizai was too lazy to pay attention to them. He smiled and perfunctorily let them rest assured. They had to be able to get the first place in the 49th sacrifice, otherwise they had no right to ask Zhang Zizai what to do. On this disc, except for the Supreme Dragon clan, everyone else was basically alone. They stood in their own corners. Before the instructions of the Qingyang ancient god appeared, they did not move or speak, and waited silently. The same was true for the dream god King Yimeng. But occasionally, there were 1 or 2 times when they looked at each other, and she actually looked at them with hatred. So deep into the play? Or do you really have feelings for these 4 partners? Zhang Zizai was a little confused. Time passed, and Zhang Zizai finally saw the changes. What is that? When one person was attracted and couldn't help but make a surprised sound, the rest of the people were attracted away. Zhang Zizai also raised his head and saw that at the end of the void, there was a strange cave. The cave was a black hole, facing everyone, like a mouth in the void. The direction they were heading to now was this black hole. Zhang Zizai had seen the Origin Dragon Cave, and now seeing this cave, he was even more terrified and awed. It was like an Origin Dragon Cave magnified 100 times, a primitive place, a nightmare place that shocked and awed people. The slowly rotating vortex, just one look, almost swallowed up all the divine bodies, souls, and divine sources of people, making people disappear into smoke and completely perish. Such a black hole vortex really gives people a headache when they see it. You don't even need to see it, just think about it in your heart, or even just exist. A person seems to be floating and trembling, as if he has become a food dish, but it is not enough to make this black hole vortex fill his teeth. This is the Origin Cave. This is definitely the Origin Cave. It is said that the Qingyang Taigu god harvested the Origin Cave of the Taigu realm. He has guarded here for countless years, and it is extremely long. If you can get the first place in the 49 sacrifices, you can observe the Origin Cave up close and comprehend the fortune in the Origin Cave. At that time, with the protection of the Qingyang Taigu god, you will definitely not be so embarrassed at this moment. Now the top existences in the entire 49 festivals, those gods have all won the first place in the 49 festivals. I just don't know why this 49 festivals are so different. I have never heard of it before. Before the first place of the 49 festivals is decided, the Origin Cave can be seen in the distance. Maybe it means that this may be just an illusion or something else. Anyway, everyone is in awe and dare not look too much. They are indeed approaching the direction of the black hole vortex, but it seems that the destination is not the black hole vortex at this time. People have seen that there is a broken star area in front of the black hole vortex. There are many broken stars in this area, with a number of tens of millions, densely packed, and endless. These broken stars can still exist here, indicating that there is still a distance from the Origin Cave. The direction they are heading should be this broken star area. It seems small from a distance, but when you come here, you will find that it is endless and densely packed, as if the whole world is these shining broken stars. Each broken star is like an island, with a foothold and a hiding place. Even on it, there are flowers, plants, and trees growing in it, and the river flows from one broken star to another broken star, which looks very strange. Just as it was approaching, a line of golden words appeared on the disk, a reminder from the Qingyang ancient god, finally arrived. Everyone immediately looked at it nervously. After arriving at the broken star area, the person who obtains all the phantom magic crystals and crystal beast hearts will become the first of the 49 sacrifices. This sentence is simple, but it is too lethal to people. First of all, there are 8 crystal beast hearts, but now there are only 7, and the way to take away other people's crystal beast hearts should be to kill the opponent, such as Zhang Zizai's crystal beast heart, which was obtained by killing Kong Hai and Lu Shizhen. In order to become the first in the 49th festival, Qingyang Taigu God actually asked Zhang Zizai to kill Mu Fan, Lu Yiyi, Cultivation and the Phantom God King, especially the Phantom God King. How could Zhang Zizai kill her? This was equivalent to giving him a fatal problem. Then the requirement of the 49th festival was all the crystal beast hearts, so none of them could be left out. This should not include Zhang Junjian's crystal beast heart, because he has not come in yet, otherwise no one can become the first. However, in terms of the phantom magic crystal, the phantom magic crystal was outside the body before, and it was very easy to get it by defeating the opponent, but now Zhang Zizai's phantom magic crystal is already in the body. He is not sure that he can get the phantom magic crystal by defeating the opponent? Or must he kill it? If this is the case, Qingyang Taigu God's meaning is very clear. This broken star zone is a hell of trapped beasts. 20 people go in, and only the only one who is alive can get endless fortune, and the other 19 can only die. What do you mean? The demon slayer God King was a little panicked. It means that only one person can survive and get everything, Zhang Zizai said. How can it be so? It has never been so cruel before, the Holy King of the Moon said with a pale face. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Feng Qingyang. Chapter 1330. If they had known this earlier, they would not have sprinted towards the end and squeezed into the top 20. This was clearly seeking death, so they would regret as much as they wanted now. Not necessarily. You don't have a crystal beast heart. Maybe you will lose the magic crystal if you are defeated. In this case, you may not need to die, Lingxian God King comforted himself. This is indeed possible. Anyway, Qingyang Ancient God will not remind him very clearly. They still need to figure out the specific rules after entering, but the only thing that is certain is that this broken star area is definitely a tragic place of fighting. The origin cave is right in front of us, who can fight to the end? Zhang Zizai didn't know anyway. In the next moment, the golden text appeared again. This time it was not a detailed explanation of the rules, but a supplement. As I write this, I hope readers will remember our domain name Taiwan Novel Network Rightward Arrow. There are 5 quasi-celestial beasts in the broken star area, Huncheo Dijiang. They will join in the hunt. Once you all die in their hands, there will be no first place in this 49th sacrifice. This is an additional test. Not only do you have to compete with others, but you also have to save your life under the threat of quasi-celestial beasts. People were simply stunned and stunned. Chaos Emperor Zhang? I have heard that it is said to be a kind of divine beast that can eat anything. It is almost at the level of a celestial beast. No divine king can defeat them. God kings are all their food. Sheng King Luan's face turned even paler. It's too scary. I wouldn't have come if I had known about it. They are dumb people who eat Coptis chinensis and cannot speak out their sufferings. It was originally the last chance to compete, but they didn't expect that the rules of the game here are so cruel. In the killing field and the quasi-celestial beast, under the threat, all of them looked solemn, and many of them regretted it. Of course, all the god kings present had seen the market. Although their future was miserable and they had a narrow escape from death, they still had some confidence in themselves. Anyway, I won't give up easily. After entering, the 4 of us will work together to quickly establish an advantage, God King Shengluan asked. He thought too much. Qingyang Ancient God would not let them stay together. When they were approaching the broken star area, the 20th ranked Lingxian God King was the first to be thrown out and seemed to fall into it. On top of a broken star, the disk then continued to move forward, traveling forward and swimming among the broken stars. After about a while, the 19th ranked demon-slaying God King was also thrown away. He and the Lingxian God King were already far apart in position. Within a few dozen days, it would be difficult to find each other again. After all, there were so many people here. Broken Star is too dense, like countless islands, a complex world. Starting from the end of the magic crystal ranking, 20 people were scattered in this broken star area one after another. At the back, they were closest to the origin cave. After Huang 11 was thrown away, only Zhang Zizai and Mu were left. Fan and Yimen are the 3 of them. The God King of Fantasy Dreams took a deep look at Zhang Zizai, his eyes were meaningful and full of hatred, and then disappeared into the broken star area, leaving Zhang Zizai and Mu Fan behind. This was the first time Zhang Zizai was alone with this person. Zhang Zizai, I look forward to the time when we can decide the outcome with you. Mu Fan finally spoke. He grinned, and when it was his turn, he went down the same way, leaving only Zhang Zizai himself, still in the disc. Moving forward, we headed towards the location closest to the origin cave. At this location, the black hole vortex could already occupy half of Zhang Zizai's field of vision, and could be described as covering the sky and the sun. The final test begins. The disc disappeared, and he was not treated specially. Like everyone else, he landed directly on one of the broken stars. Standing on this broken star, you can see that the sky is full of shining stars, even the ones under your feet. The land is glowing with fluorescent light, and the gravel and stones are as bright as gems. There are even shining trees and flowers growing in it. This is really an amazing and strange place. This is the core of the ancient realm. The oasis in front of the origin cave. Kill. Zhang Zizai shook his head. Such test rules made him a little confused about Qingyang ancient god. What was the purpose of this test? Cultivate extraordinary talents for the 49 divine realms. Or to satisfy his evil taste. The rule of this game is that as long as you don't die, you don't need to take the initiative at all. Even smart people can wait for others to finish the fight and hide until the end before taking action. And everyone is smart, so Zhang Zizai guessed that it will take a long time now. During this time, people are not thinking about hunting, but hiding. If they want to hunt others, they will often be hunted by others. Zhang Zizai did not hide or hunt. He shuttled among the stars. The soul of the gods covered the surroundings. He focused on observing the origin cave. In fact, even though the origin cave occupied half of the sky, it must still be there. In a very distant location, otherwise it would be impossible for these broken stars to still exist. Maybe this is a world and then it was torn apart by the origin hole. He tried to get closer to the origin cave, but he soon discovered that it was in vain. Once he left this broken star, he would fall into the endless void, like a quagmire that would submerge him for hundreds of thousands of years. Can't even fly to the origin cave. Miracle. He returned to the broken star and began to explore. Although he didn't want to kill anyone for the time being, he didn't want some people to be killed in the fight, such as the Dream King. Zhang Zizai still wanted to find her and ask her what was going on. Or as long as he can look at her, he can feel at ease. As for the 3 god kings of the Supreme Dragon clan, if you can protect them, then protect them. If you can't touch them, Zhang Zizai can't do anything. He was in the direction closest to the origin cave, and now he turned back and headed towards the place where the Dream God King fell in his memory, but Zhang Zizai estimated that she would hide. You know, she is not easy. If she fights alone, she may be a little difficult to deal with except Mu Fan, and others may not be able to kill her. He shuttled among the broken stars. Facing these tens of millions of broken stars, it was like countless totem worlds. 20 people scattered in such a huge place, it was too difficult to find. In a month, Zhang Zizai found nothing. He knew that the 49 festivals only had about a year. No matter how he looked at it, it seemed difficult to find others, let alone collect the phantom magic crystal and crystal beast heart. However, on this day, his heavenly soul did not find anyone, but he took a step ahead and discovered the existence of life inside one of the stars. It was an extremely huge life, covering the sky and blocking the sun. It was larger than all the totem beasts and divine beast kings that Zhang Zizai had seen. It was boundless and comparable to a broken star. If Zhang Zizai guessed correctly, this should be the quasi-celestial beast, Chaos Emperor Zhang. This is a terrifying existence that everyone should avoid. Zhang Zizai knows how difficult it is to deal with it. It has a lethality that makes the gods afraid. However, for Zhang Zizai, Such a bloody and magnificent Chaos Emperor Zhang is definitely the best delicacy for the swallowing Yuanju, and he can definitely have a full meal. So, he plans to try his best. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1331. This Chaos Emperor River is sleeping among the stars. Maybe its real hunting journey has not yet begun. It probably never expected that it would be targeted by others first. Zhang Zizai walked around and found that there was no one else within a large area, so he returned to the giant beast with confidence. Quasi-celestial beasts were difficult to deal with, and life and death were unpredictable, but he wanted to give it a try. It can be regarded as the final sprint for the first place in the 49 festival. This time he was more insidious and directly placed the 5 heavenly artifacts in place. Anyway, the quasi-celestial beast had not noticed his presence yet, so it was the best time to trick it first. He has clearly seen the appearance of the Huncheo Dijiang. It is a strange beast, covered in blood-red fat. It has no head and tail, only 4 legs, but it is also round and looks like nothing. Power. The most terrifying thing about his body is the bloody mouth in the front of his body. The bloody mouth is always open when he is sleeping, and you can see several rows of teeth inside. Existing, from the inside out, these teeth are the sharpest weapons in its body. With their power, any totem beast can be torn into pieces and then swallowed if it bites it. This should be a mythical beast that makes a living by devouring other living beings. Its totem patterns are all concentrated in the mouth, Zhang Zizai guessed. So, the most cautious thing is to be swallowed into its belly. That is its battlefield. If you can get in, you may not be able to get out, so you must strike first. Now that Chaos Emperor Zhang is sleeping, this is Zhang Zizai's best opportunity. The terrifying celestial artifacts that he has yet to fight in actual combat are the Kinkan Cauldron and the Anti-Chaos Clock. If these 2 celestial artifacts are brought together, they will definitely be Yin people's artifacts. He tried his best to conceal the fluctuations of the 2 celestial artifacts. At this time, the Kinkan Cauldron is down, with the mouth of the cauldron facing upwards, becoming large enough to accommodate the entire star, while the reverse clock is above the stars, with the clock facing downwards. For the Kinkan Cauldron, the current reverse clock is above the stars. The Chaos Clock is like a top cover. Time waits for no one. With the fluctuations of the 2 heavenly artifacts, Chaos Emperor Zhang will definitely wake up soon. He must seize the opportunity. Once the opponent can be controlled by the Kinkan Cauldron and the Anti-Chaos Clock first, it will be extremely beneficial to Zhang Zizai. Before the 2 heavenly artifacts erupted, Zhang Zizai first covered the Chaos Soul Clock, one of the 9 dragons' Chaos Divine Clocks, on the Anti-Chaos Clock. At this time, the Requiem was played quietly, and from memes the sound gradually makes people's soul ripple. It would be great if it could slightly influence Chaos Emperor Zhang in his sleep and make him sleep deeper. The effect of the Requiem is still as good as before. Even the quasi-celestial beast fell into confusion at this time and let out a sad roar, which was very resentful and sounded like a giant whale in the deep sea. Melodious and profound, spreading far away. In fact, the appearance of the Chaos Emperor River is somewhat similar to that of a giant whale. The time has come. When the Requiem had some effect, Zhang Zizai immediately activated the Kinkan Cauldron and the Anti-Chaos Clock, one to suppress it and the other to cater to it. At this critical moment, when the space-time power of these 2 heavenly artifacts was completely when it broke out, Hun Chaos Emperor Zhang, who was affected by the fluctuation, suddenly woke up and let out an angry roar, directly shattering the hidden stars. When the stars exploded, the abyss-like Kinkan Cauldron had already been pulled out. This Kinkan Cauldron was 10 times larger than the Chaos Emperor River. With such a divine weapon, The quasi-celestial beast was naturally afraid and wanted to immediately escape, but at this time, Zhang Zizai first triggered the power of time. Under his control, the counter-chaos clock turned to the slowest speed. Under the control of the counter-chaos clock, under the light of the carbide fire, at this time, the speed of the Han Chaos Emperor River was as slow as a snail, and it was at this time that Zhang Zizai combined the reverse clock and the Qinqin cauldron. The Han Chaos Emperor River was suppressed before it could rush out from it. Within the Qinqin cauldron. Next, he will receive the most terrifying burst of power from the combination of these two heavenly artifacts. The Qinqin cauldron is a broken space world, filled with endless sharp space fragments. These quick-breaking leather blades are sweeping like a storm. Anyone who enters will encounter nightmare-like space tearing. This is uncomfortable enough. The most uncomfortable thing is that the reverse clock just covers the Qinqin cauldron. In a closed world like the Qinqin cauldron, it is easier for the reverse clock to control the internal time, and the effect is even greater. Explosion, combined with the two, can tease the opponent. This is completely equivalent to the space-time domain of a god totem. Of course, just like this, Zhang Zizai was not sure of killing the Chaos Emperor Zhang. His body also came inside. When the two heavenly artifacts came into play, he could see it as soon as he entered. Within a short time, amid the control of time and the tearing of space, the Chaos Emperor River was already covered in cracks and blood was flying. It was rampaging inside, roaring angrily, and was about to rush out from above. If Zhang Zizai didn't come in, of course it would able to rush out. Want to leave? The Chaos Soul clock outside was directly transferred in, just under the reverse Chaos clock. Although it was huge, it still moved very fast, but Zhang Zizai could obviously use the reverse Chaos clock to weaken its speed, making it as if just like in the quagmire, I could only continue to be torn apart by the space fragments of the Qinqin cauldron from beginning to end, and there were more and more blood marks on my body. This is just the beginning. Zhang Zizai's strongest means has just exploded. The Chaos Soul Bell plus the illusionary Sky Eye and the Soul Capture Mirror, the soul attack of the three combined is confusing. In fact, it is Zhang Zizai's soul control outside of time control. Quasi-heavenly beasts also have souls, but their resistance is worse than that of ancient gods. Zhang Zizai's illusionary Sky Eye is enough to make them fall into the illusion, but it is still a bit difficult to control them directly with the Soul Capture Mirror, because the soul of Chaos Emperor Zhang is much stronger than that of ordinary beast kings. No wonder it is called a quasi-heavenly beast, which is almost equivalent to the soul of the sky. But it doesn't matter. He is still suppressed by Zhang Zizai in speed and soul. He can't move an inch in this Qinqin ding. At this time, Zhang Zizai still has the control of the three chaos giant bells of Xuanhuan to Heavy Realm, Soul-Splitting Storm, and Ice-Sealed 10,000 miles. Invisibly, the counter-current river also entangles Chaos Emperor Zhang. And the last broken world light, combined with the 6 thunder and flame pillars, appeared in Zhang Zizai's hands. Xiantian Strike. The fighting tactics learned before were just suitable for these 6 thunder flame pillars. Holy Dragon Totem. Author, Fengqing Yang. Chapter 1332. When Han Dun Emperor Zhang had not yet woken up and was directly controlled and covered with bruises, Zhang Zizai seized this opportunity, absolutely fast, accurate and ruthless. The Qinqin Ding was his world. At this time, under the control of so many heavenly artifacts, even the gods could not bear it. Xuanation's attack fell from the sky, and Han Dun Emperor Jiang's slow dodge was useless. Zhang Zizai hit him directly with a stick. The 6 destructive powers of the 6 thunder flame pillars plus the penetration and tearing of the broken world light directly beat Han Dun Emperor Zhang to pieces, and he screamed in pain. Not dead yet. The opponent opened his mouth and a terrifying suction force acted on Zhang Zizai's body. Zhang Zizai almost lost his balance and was swallowed. This made him realize the horror of the Chaos Emperor Zhang. Fortunately, he took the initiative by sneak attack. At this time, the opponent was already seriously injured, so its ability was a little worse. Zhang Zizai continued to rely on the Soul Capture Mirror, the Phantom Sky Eye and the Chaos Soul Bell to confuse the opponent. The 6 Thunder and Flame Pillars in his hand hit again. After 6 consecutive Xiantian attacks, he finally relied on the strong lethality to make the Chaos Emperor Zhang wail for the last time, and then died. It looks easy, but in fact Zhang Zizai is already sweating. He has already exerted all his skills and used all his skills. Fortunately, he controlled it with the Qinqin Ding and the reverse chaos clock at the beginning, otherwise what the final result would be, it is still uncertain. Now this huge corpse is still in the Qinqin cauldron. He just happens to be performing the swallowing Yuanju in it, so he doesn't need to go out. Anyway, there is no one else nearby. There are only 20 people in this huge broken star area. It feels like a miracle to meet it. What's more, many people will choose to hide and not show up first. Just when Zhang Zizai took a short break and was about to start refining this quasi-heavenly beast with the swallowing Yuanju, he didn't expect that a line of golden words appeared on the body of the Chaos Emperor Zhang, which read, "Sacrifice to the Dragon God Realm Zhang Zizai, kill Chaos Emperor Zhang 1. Seeing this text, Zhang Zizai really didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He felt that this Qingyang Taigu god was too lonely, so he always liked to play these games. Generally, what he could see, others could see. Now the other 19 people could see it, so now they all knew that he had killed the Chaos Emperor Zhang. Of course, it didn't matter. He was the focus of everyone's attention here, and he couldn't keep a low profile. The most urgent thing was to continue practicing with the swallowing Yuanju. To be honest, he killed a lot of phantom demons. In addition to half of the phantom demon crystals obtained from others, he killed at least 600 phantom demons himself. All of these phantom demons were refined with the swallowing origin technique. Previously, he had reached the 6th level of the God King from the 5th level. But in fact, when he came here, he was only one step away from the 7th level of the God King. Today is the opportunity. He had used this swallowing origin technique countless times before, and it was the time when he was most familiar with it. This time, he was even more familiar with it. What he didn't expect was that this Chaos Emperor river was so nourishing. The divine source in it was not special, but its blood and flesh essence was really strong, which made Zhang Zizai's totem beast body continue to grow. With the increase of pure divine source, he really broke through the shackles again and reached the 7th level of the God King realm. The gap in realm, compared with others, was only 2 levels. The source of destruction itself is stronger than other people's sources. With the strengthening of the Sky Dragon armor and the weakening of the Forbidden Dragon God relative to the enemy, Zhang Zizai actually has no disadvantages in terms of the source of the god. He will not be worse than Zhao Wuxian, Huang 11 and others in terms of the source of the god. In this way, his advantage in this broken star area will only be greater. The only headache now is that if he wants to be the first of the 49 sacrifices, he must kill everyone else. Although Qingyang Taigu God didn't say it clearly, it's obviously what he meant. He thought to himself. Putting away the Qinqin Ding, he continued on his journey. Whether he killed or not, he had to face this problem next, because his goal was definitely the first of the 49 sacrifices, there was no doubt about it. However, if he didn't kill people, others would kill people. For example, 10 days after he killed Hun Dun Dizhang, the golden text appeared again, which was, Flower Thorn God King Lu Yiyi, kill Lingxian God King Mu Fanking. The information is very simple, but it is described very clearly. The most promising God King Lingxian of the Supreme Dragon Clan, the Celestial Dragon Clan, was killed by Lu Yiyi, who possessed the heavenly artifact Death Realm Dark Flower. As for why he had to be killed, it was probably for the Phantom Magic Crystal. After all, the God King Lingxian did not have a crystal beast heart. Among the several god kings from the Supreme Dragon clan who came in, Zhang Zizai had the best impression of the god king Ling Xian. After all, she was a beautiful big sister with a gentle personality. She was also very sincere to Zhang Zizai, not as high and mighty as the god king Xuanhuan, nor as aggressive as the god king Tumo. I didn't expect that the first person to die would be her. If she knew the result would be like this, she would definitely not have thought of coming here. She gathered so many phantom magic crystals, but ended up seeking her own death. The rules of the game are very cruel, and Zhang Zizai is a little speechless, but he knows that he can't change these. There is not much time left in the 49th sacrifice. The Qingyang ancient god did not explain what would happen if the first place was not decided after the time was up, but Zhang Zizai estimated that if this happened, it would mean that no one was in his eyes, and he would definitely not delay or force a first place. In this case, as the one with the most advantages, Zhang Zizai should not hide, but take the initiative to attack and look for opportunities. When Lu Yiyi killed the spiritual immortal god king, it undoubtedly meant that the fierce battle had begun. It was a life and death fight here. I believe everyone's mood would change. He was also much more solemn in his heart. He walked forward, and the heavenly soul swept through. As long as he was within the range of his heavenly soul, except for Mu Fan who also had the heavenly soul, no one else could escape his eyes. Half a month later, the sound of a battle attracted him. There was a sound of fighting here, and it was obvious that someone was fighting. Zhang Zizai approached directly. When he approached, he saw the grey flower directly. This was the Death Realm Dark Flower. The owner of the Death Realm Dark Flower, Lu Yiyi, now had tens of thousands of clones dancing and fighting on the Death Realm Dark Flower. Her dance was very beautiful, but it was the dance of death. As her opponent, you will know how terrible it is. Her opponent is a fire phoenix, which Zhang Zizai is also familiar with. It is Huang 11 from the Holy Phoenix clan. She is afraid that she is being targeted by Lu Yiyi. It can be seen that she wants to escape, but she is completely controlled by the death world Minghua. Now she is between life and death, making her last struggle.